1. Update your router firmware. Perhaps your router just needs an update. Router manufacturers are always tweaking software to eke out a bit more speed. How easy, or how hard, it is to upgrade your firmware depends entirely on your device manufacturer and model. 2. Achieve optimal router placement. Not all rooms and spaces are created equal. The fact is, where you place the router can affect your wireless coverage. It may seem logical to have the router inside a cabinet and out of the way, or right by the window where the cable comes in, but that's not always the case. Rather than relegating it to a far end of your home, the router should be in the center of your house, if possible, so its signal can reach as far as possible. 3. What's your frequency? Take a look at your network's administrator interface, and make sure you have it configured for optimum performance. If you have a dual-band router, you'll likely get better throughput by switching to the 5 GHz band instead of using the more common 2.4 GHz band. Not only does 5 GHz offer faster speeds, but you'll likely encounter less interference from other wireless networks and devices, because the 5 GHz frequency is not as commonly used. It doesn't handle obstructions and distances quite as well, though, so it won't necessarily reach as far as a 2.4 GHz signal does. 4. Change that channel. Interference is a big issue, especially for those who live in densely populated areas. Signals from other wireless networks can impact speeds, not to mention some cordless phone systems, microwaves, and other electronic devices. Ever play with walkie-talkies as a kid? You may remember how the units needed to be on the same channel in order for you to hear each other. And if you happened to be on the same channel as your neighbors, you could listen in on someone else's conversation, even if they were using a completely different set. 5. Control quality. Most modern routers come with quality of service (QoS) tools to limit the amount of bandwidth that apps use, like the Netgear menu below. For example, you could use QoS to prioritize video calls over file downloads. That way, your call with grandma won't drop just because someone else is grabbing a big file from Dropbox. Sure, their file will take longer, but grandma is more important. Some QoS settings even allow you to prioritize different apps at different times of day. 6. Don't rely on obsolete hardware. It's a good idea to get the most out of your existing equipment, but if you are running old hardware you can't expect the best performance. We have a tendency to subscribe to the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality with back-end devices, especially networking gear. However, if you bought your router years ago, you might still be using the older, slower 802.11n standard or God forbid, 802.11 grams. 7. Replace your antenna. If your router uses an internal antenna, adding an external one would be a good idea, as the latter tends to send a stronger signal. Your router may have come with antennas you can add on yourself, but if not, or if you threw them away long ago, many router manufacturers sell antennas separately. In many cases, you can choose between omnidirectional antennas, which send a signal to all directions, or directional ones, which send a signal in one specific direction. Most built-in antennas tend to be omnidirectional, so if you are buying an external one, it should be Mark